Hi, everyone. Sorry, I have to take my sweater off. I'm Joyce Wickman, and I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Tonight, I want to show you how to make some cards using a couple of different embossing techniques. Actually, they're a couple of my favorite ones. Okay. Um, this is the first card we're going to make. And this is, let's see, I'm trying to get the light on it. And this is it looks like a wood grain effect. And I'm going to show you how to make that. Okay. So I put the cutting measurements on here, but I will list these all after I'm done recording, so you can go back and look at them up if you just want to follow along right now. But this is the base, and the base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And it's I used the Berry Burst. Okay, so I did this first, and I'm just going to set this aside for now because we're going to work on the actual embossing part. So we'll hold that to the side. Okay. Now the part that we actually emboss on is a white piece, and the finished size of it will be 4 by 5.25. But I want to cut it a little bit bigger, so that if there are any edges that didn't emboss correctly, we can shave those off. Okay. So we're going to do that. Let's do that first. So the first thing you do is you emboss this. And I'm using the embossing folder called Pretty Flowers. It's a Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. It's beautiful. I've used it so many times. So you put your paper in. Okay, came out pretty good. Can't see it now because it's white, but you're going to see it in a minute. Okay, to put some lines in it. Now, you can do that two different ways. You can use a score buddy, or you can use your cut and score machine platform, whatever you have. I'm going to show you how to use the score buddy, just in case you want to learn that. Most people have this type, so all you would do is score the same way I'm going to do on here. Now, to use this, you want to put your paper, first of all, this piece is 4.5 wide. You want to have an even number. So I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch and make it 4. Okay, so now what we do is you move your paper down just a couple of, maybe a quarter, 1/16 of an inch, so that you have a space, and butt it up against the edge here. And then when you put your scoring tool here, you start at the half mark. So we're on 4. We're going to go to 3.5 and just drag it down, straight down in the groove. Then we go to 3. We go to 2.5, and you want to go a couple of times to make the groove nice and deep, because that's what creates the look of the wood grain. Okay, so every 1/2 inch. So we did 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, and then it's kind of tight over here. So it's easier if you flip it around and you do it from this side on the half mark. Okay, so now we have lots of grooves. And you would do it the same way on your platform. You would just go every 1/2 inch. And if you use your platform, go back and forth a few times so it makes a nice deep groove. Okay. All right, so this one, I'm going to use a scrap piece. I'm using Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake is a nice light beige. And you're very lightly going to swipe across, down, up and down, lightly. And you start off the piece of paper. You can go a couple times. You don't want it to be too dark because this is sort of the undercolor. Okay. Till you get it how you like it to look. Okay, so that's barely a color on there. So now you take a darker color, and I'm taking Early Espresso because it's a really dark brown, and you do the same thing. Start off the paper and drag it down. It's going to highlight the groove, the actual print of the embossing. And this one you can go a little darker, obviously, because that's the whole point of it, is to show the print of it. Okay. It doesn't have to be even because it's supposed to look like wood. And a natural wood isn't exactly the same. Oops. Be careful with ink on your fingers. So there we have, it shows how it brings out the grooves and the print. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be the liner that goes underneath the actual embossed piece. Okay. So I need to cut this a little bit more so you can see the white. So this would be 4 by 5 1/4. This will be 3 3/4 by 5. There. Now we're at it. So we have a nice little border around it. All right, let's glue those down. That's our first part. Take this off. Make sure you got it going the right way before you glue it. And I like to use liquid glue on textured pieces because it's more secure than a tape runner, I think. I know we have a strong tape runner, but I still feel that it's more secure with the liquid glue. Now you can use any, of course, any stamp set you like, but the one I used for this is, which I didn't show you that, is the Irresistible Blooms, because it has some pretty flowers that match the embossing folder. So, okay, so we got that on. Now, I wanted to put a piece of ribbon, and I could have done this before I glued it down, but I didn't, and I will show you how to do that. I'm going to take a pick tool, and the ribbon is about 4.5 inches, I believe. Yep, 4.5 inches, which makes just enough to tuck underneath. Okay, so we want to tuck it underneath the embossed one. So luckily, there are some little spaces that you can squeeze it under. And I like to use a glue dot for that because it's easy to slide it in. So I would put a glue dot on the end of the ribbon like that. Decide where you want to put it. I like to put it down a little bit, not in the middle, but maybe a little lower than that. Okay, so I put it in the middle so that the same amounts on each end, and then I tuck one end underneath. And it's a lot easier if you do it before, but sometimes I decide to put a ribbon on after I've done it anyway. So this is a good way to know how to do it. Okay, so that went right in easily. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Here we go. See, easy. All right, now I had already cut out the flowers, and I used pink cardstock, and then I used Magenta Madness to print the flowers. I'm going to put these on dimensionals to bring them up a little bit. The way I did this one was I have the larger of the two, just under the edge of the ribbon. I want you to be able to see the ribbon too, and I want to hide it too much. And then this one I put kind of going off to the side. Now I have two leaves, groups of leaves. And you can put them, I'm going to move this over just a hair. You don't want it going off the card because then it'll get caught in an envelope. So that's something you have to be aware of. Whoops. I feel like I'm all thumbs tonight. Okay. Next, the sentiment, I took a piece of white, which is, let's see, 3 by 3/4. I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to make this a happy birthday also. I constantly need happy birthday cards, so. I'll make sure I'm still in the shot and try to get it nice and straight. Using the grid paper helps too. There we go. Now I'm going to also take a light pink. This is Bubble Bath, and I'm going to just brush. Let's get my scrap paper again. Put some pink on it. I like it better than just white. And it doesn't have to be solid. It can look like a cloud, a pink cloud. I want to make these, I want to flag the ends, so that's why I kept it straight to show you how to do that. And all you do, actually, I'm going to cut a little more off of this because it's high. All you do is you snip straight in from the end as far as you want to make the flag long, and then go from each corner into where you just cut. It's the simplest thing to do. There. And this one's a little bit long. There we go. And I put that on dimensionals also. Oops. I think I'll put one more in the middle. There we go. And I also put, let's put the inside. No, I can do the gems first because we're already there. I put, these are kind of cute. They're kind of a magenta color. They work nicely with the paper and in the ink. And then on the inside, I have another piece of white and I stamped it. Now, what I did with this one is, this one's on 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I made it small like that because I really like the color of this card. I think it's pretty. So I wanted to leave some showing of the inside too. But I'm going to stamp it first. So I have a saying. Let's see. Where's it? Right here. Wishing you everything wonderful. I think that's a fun saying. There we go. Okay. And I also put just a little flower. This one. To give it a little more interest on the inside too. Thought that was pretty. Okay, and then we're going to glue that in. Right in the middle. There we go. Pretty card. Doesn't it look like wood grain? I think it's really pretty. Okay.